coming up in Judge Fleischer's courtroom.
Mr. Cameron, what time does court start?
8:30.
What time did you get here? Are you Jacqueline Allen?
Yes, sir.
Miss Allen, you're charged with terroristic threat. You're facing up to 6 months in jail. Up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. It's elevated to that because of the family allegation or household allegation. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present if you cannot afford one. One will be appointed to you, ma'am.
On September 20th, 2024 in Harris County, Texas, officers were dispatched to a family disturbance. Officers met with the complaining witness who stated he is 98% blind. Complainant said he's been in a dating relationship with the defendant for about 8 years. Complainant stated he got into a verbal altercation with the defendant and that a knife that was on the table earlier was no longer there. Complainant says the defendant told him, "If you come any closer, I'm going to stab you with the knife in your chest." Complainant stated he was scared and felt fear. Complainant then locked himself in his room with the desk in protection against the defendant.
Have you spoken to this person? Do you know if he wants to have contact with her?
No, Judge. I believe we've tried several times to get in contact, and as of I think this week, the number is no longer in service, so we've already put in what to do for our investigator.
Got it. Okay, ma'am, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Wait a second. Tell me the threat again. I missed it. I must have zoned.
Defendant stated, "If you come any closer, I'm going to stab you with the knife."
Got it. Okay. So, yeah, Miss Allen, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm entering in now what's called a magistrate's order for emergency protection that identifies Antonio Hughes as a protected individual. You cannot commit family violence or an assault against this person, commit an act in furtherance of an offense under Section 42.072 of the Texas Penal Code, which is the stalking statute. You cannot stalk, threaten, harass, use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior. You cannot be in possession of a weapon. Do you understand? Thank you. If you violate these conditions, the state can and will file additional charges against you. Violation of protective order, and things will go real sideways then. What do you do for a living, ma'am?
Okay.
What do you do for a living?
Okay, disability.
Okay. We will appoint you a lawyer today, ma'am. Do not leave until we figure out what's going on. I've already have to give you 2 PR bonds because that you've taken off on us. It's not going to happen again. If you take off on us, if you don't come back to court, you will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you mind giving an application, please? And then we'll have, well, let me see if I have one. I have one already. Don't worry about it. I'm going to have you sign a receipt with Victoria. I'm going to have you take a seat in the jury box. At this point, until I know that he wants to have contact with you, I'm ordering you not to have any contact with him. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Come on.
She can come with here.
We need her to sign them up first. Okay, Mr. Barahona, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. Second offense, you now know what's going to happen. I've made your bond extremely low for someone who has violated conditions. You violated again. I don't care. You have Jesus here waiting for you. The bond will go high next time if you violate any conditions. Do you understand?
Yes.
You were to have today a scram on your ankle. You're not to drive. You know what conditions are on you. When I mean no alcohol, I mean no alcohol from any source. I don't care what you come up here saying. It will go in this year and it will go out that year. Actions speak louder than words. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to have you sign a reset. We'll have you get with Felicia for your bond connection. Then we'll have you take a seat while we wait for your lawyer to get here.
All right. Thank you.
Artavia Ellis.
Yes, sir.
Miss Ellis, you're charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present if you cannot afford one. One will be appointed to you, ma'am. I know you don't have one, but we're going to do probable cause first. Okay.
Yes, Judge. On November 8, 2024, officers were dispatched to a disturbance at a residence in Harris County, Texas. The complainant stated that he and the defendant had been dating for at least 2 years and stated that he and the defendant had been staying with each other at the defendant's apartment or his apartment. The complainant stated that on November 8, 2024, the complainant stated that he was seated on the couch and the defendant became aggressive and punched the complainant on the right side of the face. And the complainant stated the defendant then jumped on him and put her burning cigarette on the right side of his face, leaving a mark and causing him to feel pain. The complainant stated that he told the defendant to leave, but she refused. The complainant was afraid and called 911. and the officer spoke to the defendant, who stated that she and the complainant had been dating for 3 years, and that she and the complainant had a verbal argument over a cheating issue in the living room. And the defendant stated that the complainant kept bothering her, accusing her of cheating, and kept following her around. The defendant stated that she then ashed the burning cigarette she was smoking on the complainant's face because the complainant used to get violent with her in the past, and the defendant stated that she did not punch or have any physical contact with the complainant.
Ms. Ellis, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any illegal drugs, I'll put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand? She has a prior assault of a family member. Is this the same complaining witness, guys?
No,
It's
Your Honor,
not.
it's a
It
different.
was my ex-husband.
We don't need your help, please. You have the right to remain silent. Exercise that right. If you say something when you think it's going to hurt you, it may very well hurt you. If you think you're trying to help, just don't. I'm ordering you now not to have contact with this person. I'm entering in an order for protection that identifies London Renfro as a protected individual. You cannot commit family violence or an assault against this person, commit an act in furtherance of an offense under section 42.072 of the Texas Penal Code, which is the stalking statute. You cannot threaten, harass, use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior. You cannot be in possession of a weapon or go within 200 feet of where he lives or where he works. Do you understand? That means you're not allowed to go within 200 feet of 10307 Dell Court in Missouri City. You cannot go within 200 feet of that address.
What is the address?
Until I know differently, you're not to go within 200 feet of that address. You know, we can work things out. My only and my primary concern, Ms. Ellis, is public safety. I will do everything in my power to protect every person of Harris County. If I have to put you in there kicking and screaming, crying, and praying to whatever God there may be, I don't care. Do you understand? What do you do for a living?
I drive. I work for Amazon.
Do you have a Texas driver's license, ma'am?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have liability insurance in your name?
I don't currently have a vehicle right now.
You said you're driving something. You have to have car
I drive for
insurance.
Amazon. I use their vehicle to deliver packages.
Okay.
So yes, I do have a driver's license.
How much money do you make a month?
Not much. I haven't worked in like a month. I've been having problems with my heart, so I haven't been at work lately.
Are you still earning an income?
As of a month, I haven't worked in like a month because I took an absence of leave because I've been dealing with my heart problems.
Okay. I'll have you fill out an application, but I need to know everything about you. I need to know how much money you have in the bank, what your monthly income is. Don't just put zeros because I'm going to send it back to you. I need to know everything about you, and I'll look to see whether you qualify for an appointed lawyer. Okay. Do not leave until you sign all of our bond conditions. Otherwise, I'll issue a warrant for your arrest. And remember, no alcohol, no illegal drugs. That includes smoking marijuana. If you smoke marijuana, okay? Please.
It's everything.
All right, Judge, can I just come over here, ma'am? Page 15,
Okay.
Sarah.
Edwin Sura Aparicio. Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you. Good morning, Mr. Reyes. Okay.
Yes, Judge. On November 10th, 2024, the officer conducted a traffic stop on the defendant's vehicle after observing it run a red light and through an intersection. After the officer turned on emergency lighting equipment, the defendant's vehicle accelerated at a high rate of speed. Officer activated sirens. The vehicle slowed down. Upon contact with the defendant, who was the driver of the vehicle, the officer observed red bloodshot eyes, slurred speech, and a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage. The defendant admitted to drinking. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted. HGN, 6 out of 6. Walk and turn, 3 out of 8. One leg stand, 0 out of 4. The DIC was read and the defendant consented to arrest. The results were 0.15 and 0.149.
You said the stop was
For
for,
running a red light, Your Honor.
oh, he ran a red
He ran a
light.
red light and then the officer pursued.
Got it. Okay. Mr. Sura Aparicio, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Tell me, are you a United States citizen?
Resident,
Do you have a Texas driver license?
manejar de Texas. Yes.
Can you run his license?
Eligible, Your Honor.
Do you have liability insurance in your name?
Bajo su nombre.
Then you're not allowed to drive.
No se le permite.
I am making that now a condition of your bond. You're not to drive any vehicle until you have car insurance in your name. And we were able to see it. Once you obtain that, come back here, show us that you have it, and then I will take this restriction off. But until I know every person of Harris County is protected in the event that you get into an accident, you're not allowed to drive. It's just the law.
Seguranza, sí tengo, pensé que era como seguro.
Oh, I'm sorry, I do have insurance. I thought you were talking about life insurance.
I don't care about life
No, a mí no me
insurance.
importa de seguro de vida.
Car insurance. Show me that you have it with your name before you leave here today, and I won't put this restriction off. I want to know that you're protected. I want to see that you have car insurance, and then we won't restrict your license, your driving privileges. I am ordering you, though, not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I will randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any kind of illegal drugs, I will put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand?
¿Entiende? Yes.
Okay. You have a lawyer.
Tiene un abogado.
Job having a lawyer.
Tiene un buen-
Because you do, I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court, but you must stay in touch with Mr. Reyes, and he will tell you when you have to come back to court. If Mr. Reyes tells me that he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, I will issue a warrant for your arrest.
Una orden de arresto.
Do you understand?
¿Entiende? Yes.
All right, guys. Well, I'll have you sign a receipt with Victoria. We'll have you get with Felicia for your bond conditions, and then free to go.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a great weekend and day.
You too.
Parece que conteste a voz alta, por favor.
Okay, Luis Armando Hernandez Ramos,
Estamos. Yes, I am.
charged with driving while intoxicated. You were facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine because of the high blow. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge.
Solo esto.
No diga nada.
On November 9th,
El 9 de
2024,
noviembre del 2024,
officer conducted a traffic stop on the defendant's vehicle at approximately 10:47 p.m. after observing it weave between two lanes and fail to signal lane changes. Upon contact with the defendant's vehicle, the officer observed a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, red glassy eyes, slow speech, unsteady balance, and a glazed over look. The defendant had inconsistent statements and trouble with the timeline of the evening. The defendant admitted to drinking beer in his truck prior to driving. Standard field sobriety test.
Did he have alcohol in the car while he's driving?
Your Honor, yes, and towards the end of the statement. So, officers conducted a standard field sobriety test, HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 8 out of 8, and one leg stand 3 out of 4. An inventory search of the vehicle revealed 5 empty 32-ounce Corona bottles, one 32-ounce Corona bottle with 1 ounce.
Corona, I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Oh, fair.
Go a little bit slower, huh?
Yes,
Thank you,
Judge.
sir.
An inventory search of the vehicle revealed 5 empty 32-ounce Corona bottles, one 32-ounce Corona bottle, with 1 ounce of fluid in the bottle, and one empty 24-ounce Modelo.
Drinking while driving?
DIC was read and defendant consented to arrest. The results were 0.174 and 0.173.
.173.
Mr. Hernandez Ramos,
Vamos.
I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Tell me, are you a United States citizen?
Ciudadano de los Estados Unidos.
Presidente.
I'm a resident.
I don't know if you are or
Yo
not.
no sé si lo
And
es o
quite
no.
frankly, I don't care.
Francamente, a mí no me importa.
But one thing I want you to understand is if there is any problem with your immigration paperwork whatsoever, and you go to jail and immigration finds you,
A la cárcel.
they will put an immigration detainer on you and you will be stuck like Chuck in jail
En la
until this case is over with.
termine.
And then you will be shipped off to immigration where you will sit for another 6 to 9 months.
6 a 9 meses.
I hope that you would recognize it's damn elementary for you not to have alcohol in the car
Alcohol-
while
alcohol
you
dentro de su-
are driving. You now,
Ahora,
I am barring you from driving whatsoever.
ahora
You will be signing an affidavit with me today promising me that you're not going to drive.
no va.
And I don't care what is going on in your life. If I find that you drive in violation of this affidavit, I can have a hearing to hold you in contempt, slap you with up to 180 days every time you drive.
Yes, cada vez
Do
que
you
maneje.
understand?
Entiende. Yes.
You cannot give any justification at all for getting into a car and driving. And there will be a very hefty toll. I'm also ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I will randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any kind of illegal drugs or unprescribed controlled medication, likewise, you will go to jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. And like I said, any issues with your immigration whatsoever, you will be with me for a long time.
Por largo tiempo. Okay.
I will have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive.
Va a jurar que
I
usted
will
no
have
va
you
a
sign
manejar.
a reset with Victoria. I will also have you sign your bond conditions with Felicia. We will get you out of here because you need a lawyer to represent you, and we will give you time to go hire a lawyer.
Le vamos
When you come back, hire a lawyer. If you fail to come back, I will issue a warrant for your arrest.
Viene otra vez. Yo entonces voy a dar una orden de arresto.
Are you Jose Vasquez?
Sí.
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez, you're charged of driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Nosotros le nombramos, señor.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
On November 9th,
El 9 de noviembre
2024,
del 24,
the officer was
los
dispatched
oficiales fueron
in reference
despachados
to a major
cuando
crash.
a un choque.
Upon arrival,
Al
the
llegar,
officer
los
observed the
oficiales
defendant
observaron al
being
acusado,
treated by
que
Houston
estaban
Fire
tratando
Department,
el Departamento de
and
Bomberos
upon
de Houston.
contact with the wheel
Tuvieron
witness,
contacto
the
con
wheel
el
witness
testigo
advised that the defendant
que el
was
acusado
driving
estaba manejando
westbound
hacia el
when he struck the
oeste
median
cuando le pegó
at
al
the
pabellón,
intersection.
la intersección.
The wheel witness observed the
El
defendant
testigo
then
observó
crash into a
el
street
acusado
sign,
que se chocó contra
exit the
una
vehicle from the
señal,
driver's
salió
seat,
del vehículo por la parte
and the
de
wheel witness saw the
el
defendant was the sole
conductor
occupant.
y vieron que él era el
Upon
único.
contact with the defendant,
Cuando tuvieron contacto
the
con el
officer observed
acusado,
him with
los oficiales
bloodshot,
observaron
glossy
los ojos
eyes,
rojizos,
improper balance,
falta de
and slurred
equilibrio
speech.
y el habla afectada.
Standard field sobriety tests
Hicieron
were
las pruebas,
attempted.
se trataron,
HGN was unable to be completed.
HN no se pudo completar.
Walk and turn,
Caminar
5 out of
voltear,
8,
5 de un
1
ocho,
leg stand,
una
1 out of
pierna,
4.
uno de
The
cuatro.
DIC was red,
Hicieron la-
and the defendant
derechos,
consented to
y el
breath,
acusado dio el
but was
permiso para
unable
ver
to
el
follow
aliento,
instructions.
pero no pudo seguir las
Search warrant was
instrucciones.
then signed and
Hicieron
executed.
entonces la orden de registro.
Any priority to be ICE?
No, Your Honor.
No,
Okay. And I forgot to ask you on the gentleman before us, were there any priority to be ICE? Did you run an NCIC?
Gentleman before, let me see, Your Honor, I have it still pulled up. No, Your Honor.
Vasquez
señor
Ramos.
Vázquez,
I'm going to find that, I'm sorry, Mr. Vasquez Ladrillos. I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. What is your immigration status? Are you a citizen of the United States?
No,
What happens if you go to jail?
Ya no voy a volver a hacer.
it's just, I'm not going to do that again.
I want you to tell me what happens if you go to jail. I want you to think, and I want you to tell me what happens if you go to jail.
¿Qué sucede si usted va a la cárcel?
No puedes que tengo mi mamá enferma.
She said, I can because my mother is sick.
I'm going to ask you again, are you in this country with or without permission?
País con o sin permiso. Without permission.
What happens if you go to jail?
Entonces, si usted va a la cárcel,
Ya no bebo.
I'm not going to drink again.
I'm trying to get you to put two and two together, Mr. Vasquez. You're not in this country with permission. If you go to jail and immigration finds you, they're going to put an immigration detainer on you and you will be stuck in custody for the next 6 to 9 months. That is what you have waiting if you go to jail. They sweep the jail every 4 to 6 hours, and if they find you, you will be in there for a very long time. I'm putting conditions on your bond now. If you violate these conditions, I will put you in jail. You were lucky enough to get out one time. You may not be lucky the next time. Do you understand?
Yes.
You don't have a Texas driver license, do you?
No.
No.
Then you're not allowed to drive. And I'm making that a condition of your bond. This is an affidavit, which is a promise that you're going to make to me today that you're not going to drive. I don't care what's going on in your life. There's a burning building and 50 kittens need to be saved. You drive, you will be with me. I'm also ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I will randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or illegal drugs, likewise, you will go to jail. The reason you got out of jail so quick is we gave you a free bond. It's not going to happen again. So if you spend any more than 4 to 6 hours in there, get ready for a detainer. You understand? I will have you come up here, swear test that you're not to drive. I'll get you to Victoria where you will sign a reset. You will get with Felicia for your bond conditions, and then we will get you out of here to hire a lawyer. Heed this warning because you will not get another one. Follow these conditions.
Yes, sir.
Okay, please. You, Michael Todd First.
Sure.
Mr. First, you're charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense. And you're charged with interference with the duties of a public servant. So on the DWI, you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. On your other case, you're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. Okay. On November 7th, 2024, the officer responded to an HEB in Harris County, Texas, in response to a public intoxication call. Upon contact with the defendant, who matched the description given over dispatch, the officer observed the defendant to have bloodshot, glossy eyes, slurred speech, and a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, and the defendant was extremely unsteady on his feet. The defendant failed to comply, having unprovoked aggression and irritability towards the officers, and refused to answer any and all questions regarding his history and whether the defendant had consumed any alcoholic beverage. Through surveillance footage, the officers observed the defendant drive to the store and was the sole occupant of his motor vehicle, and the witness advised the defendant entered the store appearing to be heavily intoxicated. Due to the defendant's level of intoxication, standard field sobriety tests were unable to be performed. The DIC was read, but the defendant refused. A search warrant was signed and executed despite the defendant's attempt to interfere with the execution of the blood warrant. He resisted the officers and the hospital staff and impeded the phlebotomist from complying with the warrant.
Just telling me that he interfered. DWI okay with the interference? You got to give me more than conclusory statements.
The 3 officers, Judge, had to restrain the defendant before the phlebotomist was able to take two vials
Better.
of blood.
Okay.
He disrupted the timeline of the execution. He impeded the phlebotomist from complying with the warrant. He interfered with the peace officer while the peace officer was performing his duty. So, Judge, it just seems like he was actively resisting the whole time.
Strap him to a gurney, does it say? You know?
I'm gonna pull up the OR, Judge.
It's not necessary.
Furthermore, it also says that while in the hospital, For approximately 5 minutes, the defendant repeatedly pulled away his arm from the phlebotomist and the officers while the phlebotomist was drawing blood.
Okay. All right, Mr. First, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward on both of your cases. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any illegal drugs, I will put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you have a Texas driver license? Can you run his license, please? And then how many prior DWIs do we have here? Do you have liability insurance in your name?
Currently, yes, sir. But I would.
I don't want to talk about the case at all. I'm just trying to determine whether we should allow you to drive or not.
Well, I have something to say on that. It would be fine with me if you ordered me not to drive. I don't need to drive. I don't have a job.
But I don't know how that'll impact your life. I am going to say this, though. I am ordering you now not to drive any vehicle that doesn't have an ignition interlock on it. So I'm putting a restriction on your license that if you want to drive a vehicle, you're not allowed to unless it has an ignition interlock. Understand, if you drive a vehicle, it doesn't have one, you're in violation of the conditions and we're going to put you in jail.
Yes.
You understand? Mr. First, if you have a problem with drugs or alcohol, you better take care of it. Because if you don't, I'm going to do it for you. And I promise you're not going to like the way that I do it. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And Your Honor, his license is eligible and he only has one prior DWI from 2023 out of Montgomery.
On probation right now?
No, it was a 3-day jail sentence.
Okay. All right. So tell me, what do you do in life? Do you work?
I don't work right now. I'm in the process of filing for disability. I tore up my knee right before Christmas of last year, and it was really bad, and I'm still suffering with it today.
How do you support yourself?
My wife
So you're married?
is.
Okay. So we'll do this. I'll give you an application. Let me see if I have one on file already. I need you to fill out an application for me for an appointed lawyer.
Yes, sir.
So Deputy Reeves will give you an application. I'm going to have you sign a big reset with Victoria. You'll meet with Felicia for your bond conditions, and then we'll just have you take a seat in the jury box while we get all your conditions ready and then find your lawyer.
Fair
Okay,
enough.
sir? Okay, please.
Judge, can you check the waiting
Do you
room?
have waiting on a translator, Vic? Do
Judge, I believe he's in the waiting room.
you know what the name is?
Hip Win.
Come on, man. Are you going to pay this? Yeah, that's it. Great. Here, you can take this. Okay, thanks. Good job, ladies. Hi, Ramona.
Hi, Judge.
Judge, on that.
That guy, yeah. Just tell me, what do you got?
Yeah, that's all. These guys aren't here yet.
Oh,
I didn't know if you want her to wait or call back. I would.
do you know, is there a chance that we get this person or no?
So there's a 2-hour slot. So
Okay. Ma'am, we're still, or Mr. Nguyen, we're waiting on the person to arrive from the jail. So we'll know within the next hour when we get them. And then I'll just give you a heads up. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Deputy, do me a favor, will you? On the sound bar, there's a button to turn it on right at the end. If you just hit it one time. Mr. Nguyen?
Yes, Your Honor.
There we go. Okay. So just hang
Right.
tight with me. Hopefully we'll know within the next hour, okay?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to wait for his lawyer to get here. So, Mr. Mancias, for now, I'm going to just have you take us in the juror box while we wait for your lawyer to get here, and then we'll talk about how we go forward with you.
Yes, sir.
Needless to say, this case is 200 days old, and it's time to put this baby to bed.
Yes, sir.
Take a seat for me.
All right, Judge, next is page 12.
Tomas Nava. Mr. Nava, you're charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On November 8th, 2024, the officer was dispatched in regard to a two-vehicle collision. Upon arrival, the officer observed the defendant's motor vehicle in an 18-wheeler, and upon contact with the witness, the driver of the 18-wheeler, the witness advised the defendant was driving at the time of the collision. Upon contact with the defendant admitted to crashing his motor vehicle into the rear end of the 18-wheeler. The officer observed the defendant with red glassy eyes, slurred speech, and a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage. The officer further observed poor balance, and the defendant was swaying from side to side and was looking to the concrete barrier for support. The defendant admitted to drinking, and standard field sobriety tests were refused. The GIC was read, but the defendant refused. Blood search warrant was signed and executed.
I need you to do me a favor, please.
Yes, Judge.
Does he have any DWIs that are out of county? Can you run a full NCIC on Mr. Nava?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Nava, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol, I'm going to put you in jail. You will not get any more bond. No more PR bonds. No more free bonds. I will do everything in my power to protect the county. As far as I know, this is your third here in Harris County. I don't want you to drive. I'm ordering you not to drive. Do you understand? You will be yes or no?
Yes, sir.
If I find that you drive, I'm going to have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you get into a car and drive. And I don't care what your excuse is. You cannot justify getting into a car for any reason.
You're going to know how to county DWIs.
I'm also going to order you to not drive any vehicle that doesn't have a guardian interlock on it. If you're caught driving any vehicle into jail, you'll go, and I'm going to deem you a public danger, and I'm going to make your bond so high you'll have teeth popping out. I'm going to order you to obtain a handheld scram device that you're going to take with you, so I know that you're not consuming alcohol. Do you understand?
Sir.
Judge, you said spring or?
You can get the portable. Yeah, today. I'm going to have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. I'm going to get you to Victoria. We're going to have you sign a reset. You'll get with police chief for your bond conditions.
Yes, I got a lawyer for the next.
Okay, just don't consume alcohol for any reason. I don't care what your excuse is. And above all else, don't drive. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. Hey, guys, have you on Ellis? Have you guys reached out to the CW to see if, do you mind to see where they actually live for purposes of the MOA, please? I'm kind of at a loss, Alex, where we have Mr. Gamble, who's still in custody. Both of these gentlemen are charged with aggravated robbery. One has a $70,000 bond on the ag rob, and this gentleman here, Mr. Payton, has a bond of $10,000 on the ag rob. I guess we'll see why. Doesn't seem very fair, but I guess we'll see why. Open up, Mr. Gamble. Mr. Gamble. Mr. Payton.
Sir.
Gentlemen, both of you are charged with cases in here. Both of you are charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You know, looking at your information, I see that Mr. Payton, both of you guys, and Mr. Gamble are also charged with aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon. However, your felony bond was $10,000 and yours was $70,000. I don't understand why. We will soon find out. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present if you cannot afford one. One will be appointed to you. Okay.
On November 7th, 2024, the officer conducted a traffic stop on a motor vehicle after observing it violate Texas Transportation Code 547.602, which requires mirrors, and the officer confirmed 5 traffic citations. The driver was placed into custody for those citations, and the defendant, Payton, was sitting in the front passenger seat where a black extended magazine was observed in plain view between the defendant's feet. Defendants 1 and 2, the second defendant being Gamble, were both detained, and a probable cause search revealed a black backpack found to be concealing 2 semi-automatic pistols with a loaded round in the chamber, not in a concealed holster, and within the wingspan of both defendants, as well as 37.8 grams of marijuana.
Tell me about the ag rob.
So the ag rob for Mr.
The
Payton,
defendants, same day on 11/8.
I just want to confirm, Your Honor. It looks like the ag robs are different days. For Payton, it's July 27th, and then for Mr. Gamble, it's August 26th. So they're 2 separate incidents for aggravated robbery. So to begin with Mr. Payton, the aggravated robbery on July 27th, an officer was dispatched to a robbery at a vape time store, and the complainant said an unmasked defendant came inside the store, and the complainant buzzed him into the door. The defendant looked around and then walked to the door and let 3 other masked men into the store. One of the 3 men pointed a gun to the left side of the complainant's neck, and then the other 3 men took money and merchandise before running from the door. The surveillance video showed the incident and showed defendants leaving in a silver Kia sedan. Officers were able to trace the sedan back to a co-defendant. They were also able to see that the Kia had been involved in a prior traffic stop. In that stop, the passenger of the car was viewed in the officer body-worn camera. That person was the unmasked first person who entered the store and let the other 3 men into the store before helping take cash and merchandise. And to move on to yes.
There were multiple, I think it was this defendant, Mr. Gamble, was one of 5 suspects robbing vape stores. And there are multiple incidents of the robbery. So we can certainly read PC, Judge, which is very long, but we're happy to read it.
Is it the same MO where it's in, I mean, are we talking about just like an enterprise type situation? Like an engaging and organized? Okay.
Yeah, so
I'm just, you know, I get, my question is, I want to know how dangerous these guys are, you know, and obviously we've got ag robs on both of them, perhaps even multiple stops of ag robs. So Mr. Payton, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm now putting an ankle monitor on you, and I want to know where you are at all times. And I'm giving you a curfew of 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. I don't want you out in the middle of the night, and I'm barring you from going to any, just got to be careful in this life, man. You got but one. You end up with the wrong person. You hang with dogs to get those fleas. You're going to end up with a 40-year sentence back there. And I'm going to tell you now, living in a 6x9 for 40 years is no way to live life. You know what I mean? It's not. I'm also ordering you not to be in possession of weapons, not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. If I find that you're smoking weed, you're using anything like that, I'm going to put you in jail. I'll deem you a public danger, and I'm going to make your bond so freaking high. Do you understand me?
Sir.
How old are you?
17.
What do you do for a living?
I'm employed right now.
Why?
I'm trying to get my.
I'm now making that a condition of your bond as well. You and I are going to be so close, it's going to be ridiculous. I am making it a condition of your bond that you get your GED, and I'm going to bring you back in 2 weeks to see what you have done to get your GED. You need to start working on it. We have enough people in custody as it is, and what you do now will affect you for the next 40 years of your life. You start acting like a knucklehead out there, you're either going to be dead or with a 50-year sentence, and that's not a way to go through life. You understand? I will appoint your lawyer today.
In regard to Gamble, it appears that the bond may be higher as officers presented the facts of both the current case as well as a separate case that's unfiled. It's an HPD case to which the defendant confessed to also being involved. So it seems there's also an ongoing investigation.
Do we know who put the gun to the neck?
It was the defendant as well, defendant Gamble.
Gamble?
And he also put a gun to the complainant's face as they were stealing marijuana and other items.
You hear everything I just said over there, Mr. Gamble? Same thing applies to you, man. We have enough black and brown people in custody as it is. We don't need any more. You don't need to live life with a 40-year sentence because of some stupid scheisse, man. You know? Do you know if you're going to bond out?
I'm gonna be talking to this mom later, Judge. So
Okay,
we'll have to-
if you bond out, I'm ordering you under home confinement. I don't want you out anywhere. You understand? You will get a GPS monitor on your ankle, no weapons. I don't want you to talk with any of the co-defendants in any of these cases. I don't want you two hanging out with each other at all. You know, you may be great guys by yourselves, but when you're together, perhaps it's a Tasmanian devil. No thanks. We don't want it. I'm going to tell you both of you now. I will do everything in my power to protect my Houston at all costs. And I don't care if you put you in jail at 17, you're kicking and screaming and this. No. You understand? You were lucky to get out as it is on this type of charge, as it just count your lucky stars now, Mr. Payton. All right. So,
It's a felony pending both substitute judge will roll it.
for sure. And then, Gavelicious. So GPS prior to release on Mr. Gamble, no weapons, no alcohol, no drugs, random urinalysis. Did you graduate from high school?
Yes, he did.
You did? Okay. All right, John. So I guess we'll stay in touch with Mr. Gamble. All right, Mr. Gamble, good luck. Just keep us in the loop about what goes on. Mr. Payton, I'm keeping you ever so close. I'm not letting you go far. Do you understand? Okay. I need him to fill out an application. Do you mind giving an application? I'm going to give you an application for an appointed lawyer. I'm going to have you sign a receipt of Victoria, and then I'm going to have you meet with Felicia for your bond conditions. Then we'll have you take a seat in the jury box. Yeah, correct. All of them.
John, if you can recall, this is the one where the complainant basically recanted not only the new assault, but also the first assault as well. And then she also said that she did not see the assault that involved her brother. The allegation that was made from my client then and my client now is that he was actually attacked by her family. And when he called the police, she became upset and she made those statements. The main concern that I have right now is that he cannot go to work with an ankle monitor whatsoever. He works at a high voltage area. I want to work out the case with the state. I think that based on what I've seen, unless I see something else, I don't know if I know that there's one case with the brother that I still think that would have to be worked out, and the other two, I think they're kind of tainted at this point.
So the first case is 200 days old, and it's time to put that baby to bed. I get the other two are new, but I'm not going to hold one for the one that's 200 days. I'm not going to hold it for now another 180 days for the other two.
I'm fine with it. That's, Your Honor, if that's the case, then I mean, I don't want to put the state in a bad situation, but being that she's.
Don't feel bad for the state.
Well, I mean, I'm a former state myself, so I always kind of.
So, are you ready? Do you have an offer on that case?
On the first day of that, Judge?
Yes.
There are two offers. There's a 6 days Harris County Jail and then a 13-month deferred.
Can you make a global?
I don't feel comfortable doing that, just given this is a case, but I'm happy to.
He was here just 2 minutes ago. You think he can come back?
I'm happy to call him right now and try to get him in here.
Let's see if he can come back and just let him know that we would just like a global offer. I mean, that's ultimately what we want to do. And at the most, we'll give you maybe 2 weeks to kind of settle up, but it's time to put up or shut up, man. I'm not, just because you pick up 2 new assault cases, I'm not going to give you more time on the first one. It's 200 days. It's time to either go to trial or you got to accept something. Perhaps they're ready to make a global offer so we resolve everything. I don't know. But if not, we still got to take care of this case. I'm not going to give you more time on it. You understand?
Yes, sir.
It's your responsibility to stay in touch with Judge Hatton. He'll tell you when you got to come back to court. I'm not taking your ankle monitor off. I don't want you to go anywhere near these people, not until we know what's going to happen. You know, actions have consequences. You have 3 open assault cases. I'm not going to there's 2 sides to the story, but I don't know their side.
I understand.
And so until I know everything at one time, then, you know, if they were to say something that might be different, but I'm not taking your word for anything. And it's not just you, it's every person that would come here. I'm not going to take anybody's word, you know? The evidence is going to tell us to whose side is correct. That's what we need to see what's going on.
Yes, sir.
And should be pretty quick because your case is now 200 days old. All right. So let's wait for DVD. Perhaps we can work out a global resolution. If not, we'll give it a couple weeks and then we'll come back and then, yeah.
Okay, Judge.
Thanks.
May he sit in the,
Yes, of course.
All right, Judge, next is page 13.
Good morning, Your Honor. I will be
Peeler.
pleading non-guilty today, and I will be representing myself.
Okay. There's a certain way we go through things. Just bear with me a second. So the first thing is that you're charged with failure to stop and give information. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or 2,000. I know that you're ready to go through your list of this and that, but because you want to talk, you're not listening. I need you to listen for a second. I'll give you time to talk. I promise. Just let me get through the spiel and then I'll give you an opportunity. Okay. You're charged with failure to stop and give information. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay, we're just going to do probable cause because I don't know what happened. Maybe there's no probable cause and then you're out of here. I don't know. Stop. You have the right to remain silent. Exercise that. They're DAs. Every single thing you say, they're going to sit there and type to use you.
I know that's my right.
Just hold on. Let's do probable cause first. Okay.
Yes, Judge. On June 15th, 2024, officers were dispatched to a crash. They met with the complainant who reported that she was involved in a crash with a Toyota Tundra and provided the license plate number. The male with gray shorts, no shirt, and tattoos stepped out of his vehicle and offered the complainant to follow him back to his house, and the complainant declined the offer. The defendant then left the scene without giving any information and sideswiped the complainant's vehicle a second time. The officers began to head to the car's registered address, 0.4 miles away, when they received a second call for help at the address they were headed to. At the address, a male matching the description provided by the complainant was having a mental episode in front of his house. The defendant admitted to driving and leaving the scene without giving information. The damage is approximately $2,000.
Okay. All right, Mr. Peeler, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. How old are you, sir?
So on June 15th, I was in a state of psychosis, and I have documentation of the settlement that took place for the liability property damage which occurred on that incident. I have the claim number in front of me if you need it, Your Honor, for that settlement. I have the mental health crisis documentation, discharge summary provided by the Harris County Constable living at 13800 Lake Superior Lane if you need that. Upon further request, I can provide documentation of the discharge from the hospital that I went to.
Let's do this.
Supporting the mental health.
Mr. Peeler.
And I'm disabled. So.
Let's do this. Why don't I have you talk to a lawyer? Okay. Your lawyer can talk with you, get to know you, find out what happened, and then they can approach the state to try to, see what's going on.
I'm disabled and I don't want to be, and I never was.
Just don't say anything.
Warrant at all. I never received anything in the mail, not once. So how can
sometimes cases work like that. Sometimes a person is involved in some kind of situation where a warrant will not issue immediately to where they get taken into custody at that time.
Well,
those are called
in the mail, so I assumed that I would have received something.
Never assume anything.
You're right.
Never assume anything. But let's do this. I can have you talk to a lawyer here momentarily. You can explain your situation to the lawyer. The lawyers can talk to the DA, and then we can work something. Okay.
So
just hold on.
I agree.
I don't want you to say anything because there's a bunch of DAs here and everything you say, they're going to use it against you. I will give you the opportunity, but first let me have you talk to a lawyer. I've got a bunch of them and they're great. They truly will help you out. Okay, really. Yeah. So let's do this. I'm going to have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. I'm just going to have you take a seat in the jury box while I find your lawyer. Be patient though. I've got 150 people here, Mr. Peeler. Okay, so just be patient. Okay.
Failure to, well, I actually did stop. I mean, for the record, we both exchanged words outside our vehicle.
Okay, come on.
Proctor? Jesse?
Are you Jesse Joe Proctor?
Yes, Judge.
Proctor, you're charged with terroristic threat. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
I do apologize. Internet's being slow. It's loading right now.
You tell me when you're ready.
Yes, Judge. Apologies.
No problem.
Ready, Judge.
Go for it.
On November 7th, 2024, officers were dispatched to a burglary for residence in progress call at a residence in Harris County, Texas. The officers found the suspect standing in front of the complainant's residence, and the defendant is the complainant's ex-boyfriend, and they had been dating for 2 months, and they had recently ended the relationship. The defendant had been sending threatening text messages to the complainant, stating that someone was going to die tonight, and that it was going to be the complainant. The complainant and her mother were going to die, and he also sent messages that he is going to take his gun to the complainant's house. The officers observed the text messages and confirmed that the defendant sent them by asking the defendant for his phone number and comparing them to the messages to get the complainant's attention. The complainant stated she feared for her life because she stays at home alone and would like to pursue charges.
Got it. All right, Mr. Proctor, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have contact with this person and not to be in possession of weapons. Do you understand?
Yes, Judge.
If you violate these conditions, I will put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds, sir. Can you file the no contact and no weapons, please? There is a protective order that has been issued in this case. Get to know it, because if you violate the protective order, the state can and will file additional charges of violation of protective order, and that's one of the worst misdemeanor cases you can pick up. Violate conditions on a VPO, I can hold you at no bond, 0 bond, and I will do it in a heartbeat to protect every person in this county. You understand? What do you do for a living?
I do operation support for a transportation company.
How much money do you make a month?
Approximately about 5,000. I just started the job like 2 weeks ago.
We're going to give you time to hire lawyers, so I will first have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. After that, I'll get you to take a seat in the jury box. We're going to have to wait for your bond conditions. We'll have you sign it, and after that, you'll be free to go. Don't go anywhere near this person. Life is too short. Do you understand? I'm telling you, life is way too short to live in a 6x9 box because of one person. There's 10 gajillion fish in the sea. Move on. So, you understand?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, man. Come on.
Right this way. Rodriguez?
Christian Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez, you're charged with failure to stop and give information. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
One moment, Your Honor.
Sure. Tell me when you're ready.
I am ready, Judge.
Okay.
On November 9th, 2024, an officer was dispatched to a vehicle crash hit and run at the intersection of West Sam Houston Parkway. Dispatch advised the defendant struck this complaining witness's vehicle and an electric pole and then fled the scene on foot. Upon arrival, officers saw complainant's vehicle, which sustained damage of approximately $2,000, as well as the defendant's vehicle, which was totaled against the retention cables of the electric pole. Complainant advised officers the defendant left the scene without providing his name or vehicle insurance. A witness on the scene provided a description of the defendant, and several of the defendant's family members arrived on scene one of whom identified the defendant by his name and date of birth. Defendant's mother later called dispatch and advised that her son had been in an accident and fled the scene because he was scared.
Okay, Mr. Rodriguez, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Do you have a valid Texas driver license? You're not allowed to drive. I don't care what's going on in your life. I don't care if there's a burning building. I don't care if Jesus comes down and needs to ride to church. You get into a car and drive, there's going to be a heavy toll. I'm having you sign an affidavit promising you're not going to drive. I can have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. It's an offense in and of itself. Do you understand? If you want to drive, go get a license, get liability insurance, and then we can talk. But until that point, don't. How old are you, sir?
23.
What do you do for a living?
Working refineries.
Let me give you time to hire a lawyer. So I'm going to have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. I'll get you to Victoria where we'll have you sign a receipt and we'll get you out of here. When you come back, please have a lawyer, sir.
All right, Judge, next is page 15.
Good morning, Ms. Stokes. Ma'am, you're charged with theft. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Yes, Judge. On October 31st, 2024, the officer was dispatched to a Walmart in Harris County, Texas, in regard to a theft. Upon arrival, the officer met with the complainant, the loss prevention staff, and the defendant. The complainant advised that she observed the defendant concealing items on her person along with skip scanning items at the register. The complainant then observed the defendant proceed to walk out of the store, passing all points of sale. Total cost was $49.92.
Stokes, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm barring you now, and I'm ordering you not to go to any Walmart for any reason. You understand? If I find that you go to Walmart and I don't care what your reason is, I'm going to put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. You're already on bond for a felony theft as it is now. It's very possible they revoke your bond and issue a felony warrant for your arrest. What happened with the felony theft that she's on now?
Your Honor, on the felony theft, it says that the officers were on patrol and ran the vehicle through NCIC and noticed the vehicle was reported stolen. The traffic stop was conducted. The driver of the vehicle was identified as the defendant. The complainant identified herself as the sales manager of the auto dealership and stated the defendant came into her office to purchase the vehicle for $11,000. The complainant stated the defendant presented 3 money orders for $1,000 each as down payment. The complainant stated they only allowed the defendant to leave with, they allowed the defendant to leave with the vehicle. The complainant stated several days later she found out the money orders were stolen. The complainant contacted the defendant and told her to return the vehicle immediately, which were ignored.
And I see that she has yet another one from March of this year as well. Same thing.
Let me see, Your Honor. In that incident, she used stolen identifications and rented a car for 1 day and was supposed to return it, but failed to return the vehicle.
I'm ordering you not to drive. I'm making it a condition of your bond that you're not to drive. Do you understand? Do you have a Texas driver license?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, Your Honor.
You know what? Let's do this. I'm going to appoint your lawyer today, ma'am, and then we'll talk about all your bond conditions. I'm going to have you sign a receipt of Victoria, and then I'm going to have you take a seat in the jury box, ma'am. Do not go away until we have you talk to the lawyer. Okay? Please.
Right this way.
Is it Ms. Warzebach?
Warzebach?
Ms. Warzebach, you're charged with theft. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Yes, Judge. On October 23rd, 2024, the officer was conducting surveillance at a department store in Harris County, Texas. The officer observed the defendant enter an Old Navy. The officer made contact with the complainant, the loss prevention manager, who stated the defendant entered the store, selected multiple pieces of clothing, and walked towards the front of the store. The defendant abandoned merchandise on the table, but kept a white sweater. The defendant passed all points of sale with the unpaid sweater, causing alarms to sound. The officer observed the defendant remove the security tag and throw the tag on the ground. The officer made contact with the defendant and recovered the sweater.
All right. Okay, Ms. Warsbach, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm sending you now for a drug test. I want to know what, if anything, is in your system. I'll appoint you a lawyer today, but I want sending you for a drug test. If you fail to go take the drug test, if you fail to come back, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand, man? Okay, take your seat for me, please. Okay. All right. Good morning, Ms. Brown. Ms. Brown, you're charged with assault, bodily injury. You guys have worked out an agreement. They're offering you a 13-month deferred. That is a type of probation that if you complete it successfully, you do not end up with a conviction on your record. This is really important. You don't need a conviction because when you get one, you become very difficult to employ, meaning it gets very difficult to get a job. The more convictions you get, the more difficult it is to get a job because people know that you have a volatile, meaning trigger temper, that if you get upset, holy moly, she could lose it and just. So it's really important that you make this work. Not only that, if you complete it successfully, you can have it sealed after a while so that the public can't see it. I will pay for it for you. If you complete this and you can qualify for the sealing, I'll do it for you for free. All you got to do is come back. And I'll make it even better for you. If you do everything you're supposed to do, stay out of trouble, I'll cut you loose in half the time. 7.5 months, you can be done with this thing, no conviction on your record. How does that sound? Be nice. It's not hard. That's all you got to do. If you get upset, walk away. Go somewhere else. You know, when I get upset, I distance myself from everyone. I'll go over there. I'll go run. I'll find something else to do. You know, my kids piss me off like crazy. What do you think I do? Yeah. It would be very easy for me to just beat them into submission, beat them and spank. And no, that's not the right way. If I get upset, I get up and I leave. Walk out of the house. I'll go to find something else to do. That's what you need to do when you get upset. It's not the end of the world. It's never the end of the world. All right? So what does the TRAS say that she has to do?
She's gonna have to be in the mental health group,
Okay, great.
career management, cognitive behavioral therapy,
Okay,
job skills training, and monitoring and psychotropic medication and treatment.
great. That sounds great. You know, do this 7 months, I'll let you loose. And then you're done. We early terminate people all the time for when they do well. We let them go in half the time. My only issue is, will she qualify for funding? Do you know?
I would have to be
Because she doesn't have any money. And if one of the conditions on here is GPS monitor, there's no way she's going to be able to pay for that. I know that we have, is it
Because
TLAP?
that was something that her recommended that he thought would be helpful for her, and so
I think it's a great idea. But what I want to do is be able to pay for it because I know that she can't, and I can't waive the fee while she's on probation, but she might be, I know that she'll qualify for the funding. Can we try?
We can verify.
Yeah. I'm going to try to get you to qualify so that you don't have to pay for anything. Okay. But if you ever have a problem, do you have Josh's number?
So I don't have any contact.
Who took it? Did she tell you, is it she or he?
She.
Did she tell you how you can get it back? Is the guardian here now? How did you get here?
My group home staff. We did it.
They here now? Where are they in the courtroom? Can you? Who is it?
Miss Simone.
Yeah, but where? Miss Simone, you mind coming up, ma'am, please? Yes, coming up. And Josh, give her my card too. Will you? This is my card. If you ever need anything, all you got to do is just, you have us. I mean, Miss Brown, we're always here to help, you know? All you got to do is just make a call, send me an email.
I'm Simone.
Hi, thank you for coming. So they took her tablet.
Yes, they did.
How can she get it back?
In 1 month, if she behaves well.
You can get it back. It's not the end of the world. If you're good for a month, they're going to give it back to you. Right? Can you do that? Okay. You'll have it back in a month. That gives you a way to be able to contact us. So she's getting into a probation today. It's a 13-month probation. I told her that if she does well, then we'll take her off in half the time. All she has to do is the anger management class, stay up on her medication. And then there was one more important thing. What was it? The cognitive, it's therapy. Okay. Do that. Things will go well. All right. You give up a lot of rights by entering into this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you enter into this agreement, this is a contract you're signing with us. You either complete it successfully. If you violate it, I'm going to issue a warrant for your arrest. We put you in jail. I'm going to bring you back out in orange, like you've seen all the other people that come out. And we're going to discuss whether you violated it. And if you did, we can put you in jail for an entire year. Do you understand this? This is serious business because you could go to jail for an entire year if you violate this. If you get violent with someone, if you do something you're not supposed to, if you pick up a new case, if you don't do your classes on time, if you break curfew, it's a problem. Can you get it done? Okay, I wish you luck. How do you plead to the offense, guilty or not guilty? I won't find you guilty. I'm going to wait 13 months. Make us proud. Be done in 7.5. All right? All right. Good luck, Ms. Brown. Thanks. Mr. Roberts Clay, how's jail? It's been a long time since I've had someone with this kind of drama. Let's go through your spiel. 9/25/24, evading arrest, and you pick up an FSGI. 11/9/24, assault of a family member, assault of a family member, assault of a family member, assault of a peace officer, assault of a peace officer. You get on bond, I guess, he's on bond for all those cases, right?
Yes, Judge.
And now you've picked up another assault of a family member and an interference.
Those are 2Bs filed, Judge, while he was in custody. So he was not out of custody. He's been in custody.
So in our case here, from November 9th, he has 3 assaults. And then he also has the FSGI in evading, the new assault and the interference that was filed on 11/13. Was that?
In 2022.
So they're older.
They're older ones that they just filed a couple days ago. But he's been in custody on our 3 assaults and the felonies.
So the felony assault, I see that he has not made bond on.
No, and that's why he was in custody, because he was on those 2 bonds while they filed his 2 on that.
Was also from 22. Do you know all the assault family members, are they against the same complaining witness?
No, they're different, Judge. 2022 is Asia Barros.
What is that? A girlfriend?
An ex-girlfriend.
An ex-girlfriend. Okay.
No.
And then
Just regular, no baby.
okay, so then the other 3 assaults that we have here.
The other 3, the newer 3 are baby mama, mother and sister.
His mother?
His mother and his sister.
Okay. Have we found PC on all those cases? Because I don't know if we have or not. Let me see. Yeah, it looks like PC's been found on all of them. Okay, so Mr. Roberts Clay, I want you to understand something, that I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with any of the complaining witness in any of these cases. You understand? I'm also ordering you not to have not to be in possession of any weapons, not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to randomly test you, and I'm going to put a GPS monitor, and I'm giving you 1,000 feet. I'm going to give you a 1,000 feet distance of where I don't want you to have contact with any of these people, any of the baby mamas, your mom, whoever else is part of these, the peace officers, anyone in any of these cases. Don't have contact with them. Don't go within 1,000 feet of where they live or where they work. There should be orders for protection on each one of these cases. So you have to understand, if you violate these, then the state can and will file additional charges against you. You need to understand, if multiple assault family members within a certain amount of time, they can hit you with 3rd-degree felonies, and you can be looking at 2 to 10 of the penitentiary on those. So I don't know if you're going to get out, but if you do get out, I would be very careful where you go, because even if you have whatever contact, they can file more charges on you. I mean, you've got now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 open cases. Shreya, the evading arrest and interference on all these assaults, those happened after.
Yes.
Right. So I'm revoking the bonds on those 2 cases. The evading arrest and interference, the FSGI and evading, I'm revoking those bonds because of all the new cases that he's picked up.
I understand, Judge, but the 2 new cases are from 2022.
That's why I'm not doing anything with those, right? So I'm not using those against him to revoke the bond, but the new cases from 11-9, those are after, we ordered him follow conditions. You have failed to follow those conditions by picking up another case, another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 assaults. So because you picked up those 5 assaults, I'm revoking the bond on the FSGI and evading.
Judge, is this his first court date since the November 9th?
Correct. Yeah, this is the first time that I've seen Mr. Roberts Clay. I have not seen him at all, but we've been literally rolling him day for day to try to get him here. And we had Marco Sapien representing him, trying to get Mr. Clay, Roberts Clay, and Marco at the same time. So that's why. Did you want to add anything?
What are the conditions currently, Judge?
So no contact, no weapons, GPS, no going within 1,000 feet of any of the complaining witness where they live or where they work.
Satisfied with that, Judge.
Sorry?
That works, Judge.
And then I'm revoking his bonds on the FSGI and evading, and then that's it. So
What are you setting those at, Judge?
I think there should also be, I would ask they also be set at 5,000, Judge, to mirror the others.
75.
5,000.
Oh, yeah, I was going to do 5,000 and 1, 2, 3, 5,005 on the FSGI and evading. And then I'll leave the others as is. Okay, Mr. Roberts Clay, you know what's expected of you if you bond out. Just don't go near anywhere of these people. Sometimes when you have cancer, what do? You cut the cancer out. If you don't, it's going to kill you, right?
Judge, would you do 5,003 just because I think it looks a little misleading whenever inside
Sure,
we're
of
looking
course.
at it and
Yeah.
it looks like he picked up 5, but it's actually 3.
Yes, of course. These people may be a cancer to your life. They're killing you, man. Cut it out before it kills you. Do you understand? All right. Thanks. I want you to understand that I'm going to keep you extremely close. I don't want you consuming alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to randomly test you. Do you have a Texas driver license? You're not allowed to drive. I don't care what's going on in your life. I don't care where you got to go. I don't care what you got to do. Unless you have a license and liability insurance, don't drive. You will be signing an affidavit with me today. If I find that you drive, I can have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. Do you understand? You now have 2 open cases. You pick up a 3rd, I'm going to lose it. I'm also ordering you not to go back to the place where the criminal trespass was, where you were arrested with the criminal trespass. I'm also ordering you not to be in possession of any weapons. You understand? You know what's expected of you, Mr. Jones. There's no excuse. I'm going to protect my county out there. You mess with my county, I'm going to mess with you. That's it. If I got a lawyer, it's your responsibility to stay in touch with Connor. He'll tell you when you got to come back to court. Come up here. We'll have you sign your affidavit, and then we'll have you get with Felicia for your bond conditions. After that, you're free to go. All right. Thanks, Connor.
I'm on the case, but I'll review the meds and all that, and it actually may be a better case for the PD's office. I'm not sure, but I mean, I know he's.
Hi, Dad.
He gets nervous.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
There's no reason for you to be nervous. Really, it's not the end of the world. You've picked up a case, but it happens. When you do that, you dust yourself off, pick yourself up, and you move on. All we want you to do is just don't violate the law. Do you have a Texas driver license? Do you have liability insurance? Okay, you can continue to drive. Just be careful. If you happen to get into an accident, stop. It's not the end of the world. That's why you have car insurance, so that if you get into an accident, they're there to help you with what happened. They'll even give you a lawyer to represent you. That's why you pay for car insurance. Really.
I didn't know they'd give you a lawyer.
Well,
your
certain
insurance company.
Not every single time, but
Okay.
you know, like if someone were to sue you and you have car insurance, you know, typically there's a lawyer to help you out with these cases. Yeah. So that's why you pay for car insurance. That's why it's as expensive as it is. So I'm not putting any conditions on your bond. Okay. Just be careful and be safe. That's it. We've given you a lawyer. Just stay in touch with John and he'll tell you how to navigate through this issue. And that's it. Have any questions? The only other thing I'm going to tell you is that if you take medication, psychotropic medication, continue to take it. When you stop, you know, I see so many people, they start taking it and they start to feel good. You know what? I don't need this anymore. I feel great. They stop taking it, boom, same thing starts happening. You know, they evolve in that circular, just end up in purgatory because they stop taking it and they end up back into the same situation and into bad things start happening. If good things are happening when you take the medication, keep taking it. It's there for you to do well and to be well, to be better. That's what the medication is there for. Don't stop taking it, because when it does, that's when things spiral out of control. You know, we're here to help you. That's why we have lawyers. That's why we have, yeah. Okay. Questions? Just relax. Everything's fine. If you guys need anything, we're here for you. You can always come back here and then we'll help you out. We'll set you off a month. If you need anything, just come back and we're here for you. Okay? All right, guys. Take care.
Need to sign.
No, just a reset. You are Alvaro Betancourt.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Betancourt, you're charged with assault of a family member. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On November 4th, 2024, officers were dispatched to an address in Harris County, Texas, in reference to a family disturbance type call. The caller was the witness Graham, who called 911 stating that he heard the complainant in the background of a phone call crying, stating that she was having a domestic disturbance incident with her ex-boyfriend. Officers arrived on scene that was indicated by the witness and spoke with the complainant. The complainant stated that the defendant is an ex-boyfriend of hers who she shares a child with. She stated that on this date they were in bed together when the witness called her. Witness Graham, and the defendant saw the witness call her, became upset, and stated, "I will kill you and her and go about my day." The complainant began to cry and told the witness she was having issues with the defendant. The defendant then grabbed her by the wrist and began to physically slam her into bedroom walls, causing pain to her upper body and pushing the complainant into the hallway outside her bedroom, where he again slammed her into the hallway walls. This was witnessed by her 8-year-old juvenile daughter.
So the daughter sees this happening.
The daughter sees this happening.
Not his biological daughter, though, right?
No. His biological daughter is 7 months old, so there's 2 daughters.
So he does have children with her.
Yes. Officers pulled the defendant's photograph, who the complainant positively identified as the defendant. She stated that they'd been separated for over 6 months, and the defendant became angry when the complainant told the defendant she had a new relationship already. Officers tried to reach the defendant, but were unable to.
So she has a new person.
So she indicated, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Betancourt, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm entering now what's called a magistrate's order for emergency protection. This is a court order that identifies Irma Becerra as a protected individual. You cannot commit family violence or an assault against this person. Commit an act in furtherance of an offense under section 42.072 of the Texas Penal Code, the stalking statute. You cannot stalk, threaten, harass, use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior. You cannot be in possession of a weapon or go within 200 feet of where she lives or where she works.
Judge, if I may, my understanding is that the complainant and my client are living together, that they're still together. I was wondering if you would be able to do a no threatening and harassing content, saying that they also share a child.
Until I know what she wants, I'm not going to do that, right? They've been unable to reach her. And according to what they're saying is that she has a new beau. So I don't know. Until I know, I like to honor the wishes of the complaining witness. And until I know that she wants to have contact, I'm ordering you not to have any contact with her. I don't care what you're going. I don't care what you're doing. No means no. I don't care if there's a burning building and she's in there, you have to go save her. A court order is a court order. If you violate this, I'm going to put you in jail. Are you a United States citizen? I don't know if you are or not, but if you're in this country without permission, if there's any problem with your immigration paperwork and immigration finds you in custody, they will put an immigration detainer and you will be stuck in there until this case is over with, and then they'll ship you off to immigration. Don't violate any of these conditions. Don't pick up a new case. No contact, no weapons. Do you understand?
Sure.
Anything else?
No, Judge, that's all.
Now, have you run his NCIC? What kind of criminal history, if any, does he have?
Just a moment, Judge. I'm pulling it up.
You need to do a bond because there's no bond that's set.
And he has a bondsman here. I was wondering if you'd approve of Walter. I was wondering if you.
Well, if he has no criminal history, I was going to give him a PR bond.
That works as well.
But I don't know what his criminal history is. So.
As for criminal history, I see a sexual assault out of Rio Grande City that has no disposition. A driving license invalid out of Brazoria County. That was a conviction.
That would be, curious about what happened with that sexual assault.
Another driving with license suspended in Brazoria County. Another driving with license invalid in Montgomery County. And then a aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in Brazoria County. But that was, I see a final pleading of not guilty, but I see no disposition on the case.
I'm setting your bond at $5,000 and you'll have to make a surety bond. Do you have a Texas driver license, Mr. Betancourt?
Yes, I still have it.
Does he have? Can you run his license to see if he has a license?
Yes, Judge, I'm running it right now.
I'm ordering you not to drive any vehicle unless you have a Texas driver license and liability insurance in your name, Mr. Betancourt. Do you understand? Like I said, I take public safety extremely serious, and I will do everything in my power to protect the public. If that means putting your bond at $10 million, I'll do it in a heartbeat to protect the public. So be careful when you're out there. Actions have consequences. Do you understand?
A valid driver's license.
Okay. Yes, sir. All right. Now you have a lawyer. It's your responsibility to stay in touch with them, and they'll tell you when you have to come back to court. If they tell me they can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. You will not get any more PR bonds. No, or you won't get any PR bonds. Do you understand? Okay. Do you mind drafting all those conditions, please?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right, guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Judge. May we be
All right.
excused?
He cannot go because we need to do everything. And then you said he has a bonding company here, right?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, we'll release him to the bonding company here when we get all the paperwork done.
Thank you,
Okay,
Judge. I'll go ahead
thanks.
and resend him in the meantime and have him
Don't,
wait.
don't, because he still has to post bond. Once you post that bond, you'll get a 7-day setting. When you get that 7-day setting, feel free to come up here and we can give you a different day.
Yes,
You know?
Judge.
Yeah. Okay. Come up, Mr. Cormier.
And there's been no alcohol detection whatsoever. And if he were to be tested today, Your Honor, there still would be no alcohol detection. What we believe is that it was due to him sleeping or getting tied up in the sheet. Speaking with her, she explained to me that they can't determine what,
Caught up in the sheets.
or the sock or something, because there's no alcohol detected. It was at 5:30 a.m. on a weekday morning, and he was at work, and we have proof of the work schedule. So I don't know exactly and I've asked for more clarity as far as what the tamper was, but I was not able to get any tampering. And that was now to be clear, the caught up in the sheet, that was my guess. If you're sleeping, I don't know. That's not what he told me happened. He says he's unaware because he was asleep and his mother has confirmed he was at home asleep and there is no alcohol in the home.
If there's ever a problem with the device, it is your responsibility to go have it checked out to make sure that there's no issues. But I'm not going to sit here and take tamper after tamper after tamper and just believe that it's the device. It doesn't work like that. We will send you for a drug and alcohol test now. I want to make sure that you're not using. You have 3 extremely serious open cases where just it's a lot of damage. It's a wake of damage, and I'm going to do everything in my power to protect the public. Do you understand, Mr. Cormier? And if I have to put you in at an extremely high bond, I'm not going to lose sleep at night. My only condition is don't use alcohol or dope. You were on notice when you first picked up this case, and there's no excuse. Do you understand? Okay, so let's do this. All I know is that there's a tamper. I'm going to send it for a test now. I hope you're not using. And then if it comes back clean, we'll just let you go.
Okay, so
But understand that I'm not going to put up with this. There's a continual tamper, and it's just a device every single time. It's your responsibility to go get it checked out if you think that there's an issue. Do you understand? Okay.
And so can we keep our same court date, Your Honor?
Yeah, we'll send him for a test now. Hopefully it's there.
Back then we're good to go.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
Yes, miss.
49?
Well, yeah, but she's kind of
Pre-trial. Oh,
pre-trial. We'll tell him, and then it's kind of busy, so you got to give us a minute, and then we'll send him
All
down.
right.
And then Andy Lamb.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Lamb.
Chào anh Andy Lam.
You were charged with assault bodily injury.
Và anh đã bị người ta tố là anh tấn công và hại thương tới người khác.
You are facing a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine.
Anh sẽ bị chuộc 1 năm bị giam hoặc là 4.000 đô tiền phạt.
You have worked out an agreement where you want to plead guilty.
Anh đã xếp đặt với lại tòa án để đồng ý.
Is this true?
Phải không? Yes.
The agreement you have worked out is 3 days in jail, credit for the 15.
Là anh đã nhận là anh sẽ ở có 3 ngày ở trong tù rồi, là đó là vô tổng cộng là 15 ngày. Chúng tôi sẽ xét.
Is this how you understand the agreement?
Và anh nhận tội và anh đồng ý như vậy phải không?
Phải.
Yes.
Understand this will go on your record, and from now on, you are facing a minimum of 90 days in jail.
Và anh nhớ là cái này sẽ giữ trong hồ sơ của anh. Và anh sẽ ít nhất là 90 ngày trong tù.
You are giving up the right to a trial.
Là anh nhận tội là anh đã bỏ Huy không có ra tòa nữa.
Right to confront and cross-examine your accusers.
Và anh đã bỏ cái quyền lợi là ra tòa và đối diện với lại cái người mà tố anh.
You have the right to testify on your behalf.
Và anh có quyền để gửi những lời về cái phần của anh.
Right to have the charges read to you in open court.
Và anh có quyền để cho người ta đọc những tố này cho anh trong cái phiên tòa.
If you are not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences.
Thế mà anh không có quốc tịch Hoa Kỳ là cũng có thể chuyện gây vào cái di trú.
You can be deported, excluded from the country, or denied naturalization.
Anh có thể bị đuổi rời khỏi nước Hoa Kỳ và bị từ chối vào quốc tịch.
You also give up the right to appeal.
Và anh sẽ huy bỏ cái quyền lợi để mà kháng cáo.
Do you understand your rights?
Anh hiểu cái quyền lợi của anh phải không?
How do you plead to the offense of assault? Guilty or not guilty?
Rồi anh muốn thưa như thế nào về cái tội tấn công? Là anh chịu nhận tội hay là không nhận?
Nhận tội. Sounded like not guilty.
No, nhận tội is guilty.
Say it again.
I plead guilty.
No.
Nhận tội. You're getting there, Judge.
I will find you guilty, sentence you to the agreement, and good luck.
Và tôi sẽ coi anh là người có tội và theo cái hình phạt.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Vâng, xin chào.
Sẽ là lại nhau không? Okay. All right.
Guys.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
That's it.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Hi, guys. Hey, welcome. So all you guys are students?
Yes, sir.
Okay, where?
Third grade.
Are you in law school or undergrad?
Law school.
Fantastic. So great. 3L. Oh, great. Everybody else, 1 or 2 L's?
2 L's.
Wow. You're entering into a great profession.
Oh, yeah.
There's no better profession than being a lawyer. I tell you what, you know, and I give this example a lot. I have a friend of mine that just got a judgment for $350 million. And then like 2 months later, he got another one for like 40 million. If you treat the law well, it will pay off in dividends. But you got to treat it well.
Yeah.
Study hard, do your diligence, make sure you know the law, and more importantly, know the judge. Because you got to know your audience and you got to know who you're working with as far as whether you're a plaintiff's lawyer, whether you're a defense lawyer, whether you're doing contracts, whether you're doing whatever it may be. And even if you don't, you know, practice law, become a lawyer. The amount of information that you learn from just going through law school, it's amazing. No one can mess with you when you know things. And I try to impart that to every single person that comes here, you know, school, 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 because no one can take you for a ride when you know stuff. I'm so proud of you guys. That's so great. So do you guys know what you want to do after when you graduate?
Still deciding.
Come work for the DA's office. Yeah, work for the DA's office. They're always hiring people. You get no better trial experience. You know, when you come work here for the DA's office, you're literally, you know, I remember coming to work here. Boom, you're in trial the next week. It's just trial by ambush. There's no better way than to just really start doing trials. And There's no faster way than in criminal law and working in the DA's office. I would encourage, if you don't know what you want to do, because there you get a sense of what you like, what you don't like. And so where are you guys going now?
Appeal,
We're
Court of
going to
Appeals for appeals.
Appeals court.
Are you going to hear arguments?
Yes.
Great. Where are they going? Where are you guys going?
I'm gonna go back down I'm in domestic violence division. I'm gonna go back down and check on like my IDs if they need help, but they just wanted to see.
So we try cases on Tuesdays, and I think that we have what today's Ramona. I think we may have a trial. Do we know if we have a trial next week? We have trials. We try what I would say Tuesdays when we do voir dire, and then Wednesdays when we start testimony. You can always reach out to Victoria, our coordinator, and she can tell you whether we're in trial or not. And if we are, and I also Zoom. So you can always catch everything through Zoom. So you don't even have to come here. Just hop on Zoom, and we YouTube as well so that everybody in the entire world gets to see what we do. Because I think it's just education is just the best thing, and we try to educate everyone. And we do that by putting everything online so that everybody can see what we do every day. Everything's transparent, and it's no better way to educate, Guys, thanks for coming.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
6 trials set next week. So if you want to come,
really good.
you can come watch or you can watch online. Either way, at your leisure.
Thank you so much.
Guys, I'm so proud of you. Great job.
Thanks for letting us watch.
Fantastic.
Have a good day.
Anytime.
Dustin.
What happened now, Mr. Eli?
Nothing, sorry, my phone's ringing.
It's okay.
Nothing bad. I've been going through the program. As you ordered me, I went there to the program. They told me last time I was here that there was supposed to not be any fees, and they're charging me fees. It's like
So I waive as much as I can with regard to probation fees. Outside vendor stuff, I cannot pay for. Like if you have to take classes out there, and I told you, while you're here with me, I can pay for everything that you are here for me in there. When you're on the outside, and I told you that umpteen times that we have treatment programs in here, $15,000, $30,000 worth programs at your disposal, but you wanted to go out, and I can't pay for stuff on the outside. I can take off probation fees, but outside vendor stuff I can't pay for.
Oh, yeah, they haven't even put me into a program yet. I'm still waiting for them to put me into some kind of program or counseling. Yeah.
Treya?
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at it, and he's saying so I talked to him, and he's actually been clean on his own. You can trust him if you want, and I can tell from his face. But he's been doing it just like on his own cold turkey. He said that they haven't given him his classes yet. So
Is there a warrant for his arrest?
No. What?
I thought you said that he was.
No. Is there? Do you have a warrant?
Mr. Eli.
He's turn himself in for the days of condition.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Sorry.
I wanted to
was wondering what we were.
Yes, 251-3248. And he wanted to ask you if you could put it off because.
Why?
I'm taking care of my mom. I just buried my dad last week.
You need to take care of you first before you try to take care of anyone else first. Don't do that. Don't try to use anyone else. But you are.
Just hear me out for a minute. There's nobody to take care of my mom. It's me and my 13-year-old brother. I'm waiting for my brother to text me an email from the doctor saying that we have to look after her for the next couple of weeks.
You and I have enough history, Mr. Eli, that I know when you tell me something, I'm not. No. Part of the probation that you had to do was you had to do this. You were agreed to do this. You're going to have to do it at some point. You cannot just out of sight, out of mind. It's one of the conditions of your probation. You have to do it.
I was just asking, Judge, if I could get some more time to do it. I showed up here. I'm willing to take a UAS test.
Have to. If you didn't, then we would file a motion to revoke. I mean, you have to. We're not going to congratulate you for doing what you're supposed to be doing. That's what enables you to be out in the free world because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So the congratulations is that you don't have a warrant for your arrest. Otherwise, you would be with me on a long-term basis. We are trusting that you're going to be able to do this on your own. That's why we let you out and I didn't want to. I told you this, and I told Shreya, how many times did I say this, that I didn't even want to do this? You understand this, right?
Yeah, I understand.
Right, because I knew that there were going to be issues. And I'm hoping not. I want you to I want you to complete this successfully. If I test you now, are you going to test positive for anything?
No.
How much time did he have to do?
This was that. Yes, I was in there. Yeah.
Let's do this. I mean, I have to help people that are on docket now. I'm prolonging them and they're
No
on
worries.
docket. So
I just wanted.
let's do this. I want to send him for a drug test right now, please. Yeah, make sure he's not using, and then we'll have him come back and then we can talk about the time.
Okay, I'll be gone.
Yeah.
You're good.
Okay. Just, Mr. Webb, you're charged with criminal mischief. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement where they're offering you, give me a second. They're offering you 45 days in jail, credit for the 10 days that you've done. Understand that this is going to go on your record. It'll be there for the rest of your life. Are you on probation or parole right now? Okay, if you're on probation or parole, got to understand that by pleading guilty to this, it may result in further confinement or revocation of that probation or parole. If you're not, that's good. But here, it is going to go on your record. You have to understand that they can use this to enhance your punishment. So from now on, you're facing a minimum of 90 days in jail for any new cases that you pick up. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You give up a lot of rights. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront, cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, you cannot change this or undo this.
Yes, sir.
You still want to do this?
Yes, sir.
All right. How do you plead to the offense, sir?
No contest.
I'm still going to find you guilty, sentence you to 45 days in jail, give you credit for the 10 days that you've done. Good luck to you, sir. Thanks. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Steen, you are charged with theft. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Yes, Judge. On June 25th, 2022, the complainant said the defendant needed somewhere to stay for the night. The complainant let the defendant stay the night at her apartment and went to work the next day about 9:30 a.m. The complainant asked the defendant if the complainant could take her laptop to work. The defendant said the laptop wasn't. I apologize. The complainant's laptop was not in the apartment. The complainant said the laptop's last known location was in her bedroom on the bed where the defendant slept. The complainant left the apartment and tracked the defendant and her MacBook Pro at about noon. The laptop was at the defendant's residence and was valued at $750. The complainant told the defendant to return the laptop. The defendant said to pick it up and she will give it back.
She got it back?
Your Honor, I don't have that information.
Morgan, do you know?
Let me check the OR, Your Honor.
Christine, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with the complaining witness in this case. You understand? If I find that you have contact, if I find that you're in possession of any weapons, I'm going to revoke your bond. I will put you in jail.
Your Honor, the police took it into custody. So the police took the laptop. We don't know if the complainant got back the laptop. But
Okay. So she has another theft that was just dismissed now. Same MO.
Let me see, Your Honor. For the prior theft, it was, in that case, the complainant stated the defendant lived with her and realized her cash out balance was low and that she found $970 missing from her account and that the money had been transferred to another debit card without the complainant's knowledge.
What do you do for a living, ma'am?
I work at Sonic. The laptop, my mom did return it back. We sent it back to her.
Are you working now, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
What do you do for a living?
Sonic. I'm a cook.
So you have a full-time job? Okay. How much money do you make a month?
I'm not sure. I get paid $11 an hour.
Okay. Did you want to apply for an appointed lawyer, ma'am?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. Do you mind giving an application? I'm going to give you a PR bond now. I'm going to tell you now, Miss Steen, I'm going to do everything in my power to protect the public in every way. And if I find that you become a danger to my public, in so much as taking anything from anyone for any reason, from Walmart, from anywhere, I will put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand? This is the one you will get from me, and there will be no more if you pick up another case or you become a danger to my city. Okay. Do you mind giving her? Did you get the cause number on this? Okay, guys, can you file no contact with those? No picking up new cases and
Yes, Judge. So no contact with the current complainant and no new cases.
be a good person. You were Tammy Johnson. How's jail? How's jail? Why do we have jails?
Criminals off the street, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good reason for sure. Why else?
Yeah,
She knows to make sure you come back. And when you don't, the sentences get longer, the bars get colder. Just, you know that when you fail to appear, your bond's at $1,000 right now. So all that needs is $100 and you're out. $125, you're out. You now know that you have no one to pony up that kind of money. No one to pony up that kind of money to get you out. Mr. Garris is asking me to let you out. The only reason you're here now is because you got busted. Otherwise, you'd still be out who knows where. Why would we let you out? You tell me.
She wants to move forward and deal appropriately with the case, and the state has given me quite a bit in the way of discovery to review. And as with any type of blood case, there's probably going to be more that we venture out to seek, but it'd be obviously sometime we talked about it. The idea that these can take 6 months, 7 months to even get ready to see if it's a viable case for trial.
Therein lies the problem where, ma'am, you sit now in custody until the case is either pled, you're in trial, or somehow gets disposed of. That could take 6 months. Where have you been?
Trying to get my life together.
Judge, she's worked for a long time as a waitress and living, and she's living kind of difficult situation at the moment. So it's experienced bouts of homelessness but now has a more stable situation. She has the ability to get to court and will be here. That's the representation we're making to the court. And I think we can do short resets if you'd like.
You know, Mr. Garris, I never want to leave someone in custody. But one of my primary concerns also is not putting someone out on the street. And I'm telling you now, I'm willing to give you another chance. But I'm not gonna put you out on the street if you ain't got nowhere else to go.
She does now. She's living in she has a motel that she's living in now. Got a temporary house.
Yes, it's permanent. It's been for a while.
I don't believe that for a second. Who do you have in your life that's willing to take you in?
I've got that information.
Before I had no one, but now I do.
But he just doesn't financially have the ability to.
The only thing that's changed between now and then is you got arrested. Ms. Johnson, the last thing I want is you to be put on the street where you look like you're going to start using again, because I don't want you to use. If I were to drug test you now, what are you going to test positive for?
Discussion about that.
Here's the drug. I'm going to drug test you like crazy. And if I find that you're using, then I'm going to keep you. And I'm not going to play this game. You can't even look at me in the eye.
That's not a problem.
Stop. Don't. Okay. At this point, Judge, I'm going to admonish my.
It's okay. That's all right.
So,
where do you have to go?
Judge, let me answer all the questions. She lives in a motel, stable situation, can make her way back to court. And you can do short resets and we'll be here. That's the understanding that we've talked about, and I think would be appropriate at this time would be to give her a chance to come in, and obviously we'll comport with all the requirements that this court installs, and if we have to do testing, we'll do that.
Let me make something perfectly clear to you, Ms. Johnson. I don't like it when people plead guilty just to plead guilty to get out. I'm not down with that. And we're not going to play that game here. So if I let you out, I expect several things from you. Number one, that you're not going to endanger my public. That's the first and foremost. Number two, that you're not using alcohol and or illegal drugs. And I'm telling you, I'm going to test you like crazy. If you can't stop on your own, then we will do it my way. And I promise you're not going to like the way that I do it. Do you understand?
Sure.
Number three, if you don't have a license and liability insurance, you are not allowed to drive. Do you have a Texas driver license? Then you will be signing with me today an affidavit. This is a promise you're making to me that you're not going to drive. And I don't care if Jesus needs to ride to church. You get into a car and drive. I can have a contempt hearing and you'll be facing 6 months every time you drive. Do you understand? Do you want me to give you a PR bond? Can you stop using?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to let you out and I'm going to have you come back here on Tuesday. And I want you to come back and take a test on me on Tuesday. And I want to know for sure. You got to understand, you've played Monopoly, right? What do you get in Monopoly to get out of jail? What do you get? You get a get out of jail free card, right? This is the only one you're going to get. You're not going to get another one. You understand? So I will let you out now, but I expect you to comport and comply with conditions. And that's it. I'm not asking for much. I'm just asking you to be sober and come back to court and stay in touch with counsel. That's all.
Thank you, Judge.
Of course. Now, we will set her for Tuesday. She got to come back here Tuesday. You don't come back, a warrant will issue. We're going to just play the 6-month waiting game while you're there. Because I'm telling you, I don't accept pleas just to get out of jail. All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
She can't go yet, though. We need her to sign conditions with. Yeah. Mr. Cameron, what time does court start?
8:30.
What time did you get here?
I
Excuse me,
just got
Judge.
here.
He called. He's on the docket next Friday,
Oh,
and he explained that he was leaving the country, and I told him to come.
got it. Okay. Thanks, Ramona.
You're
So,
welcome, Judge.
Mr. Cameron, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Officers initiated a traffic stop after observing the defendant failing to maintain a single lane and swerving between lanes without signaling. Upon the traffic stop, officers observed slurred speech and glassy bloodshot eyes. The defendant on his own immediately stated, "You're going to make me walk the line, aren't you?" Defendant admitted to drinking a glass of wine and taking a Valium. SFSTs were conducted, 6 out of 6 HGN, 5 out of 8 walk and turn, 3 out of 4 one-leg stand. DIC was read and defendant consented to blood draw.
Look, see if he has any prior DWIs, please. Valid Texas driver license. Mr. Cameron, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or illegal drugs, I'm going to revoke your bond, put you in jail. You will not get more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Are you going to allow me to speak?
What did you want to say?
in my defense.
I don't want you to talk about the case now. I've got a bunch of DAs here and everything that you say, they can use it against you.
Absolutely.
Now it's not.
And I have nothing to hide, sir. I'm leaving the country. I have to leave the country to teach Bible and English in Ukraine on Monday. I've been planning this for months.
I'm not putting a travel restriction on you. I'm just ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs.
I haven't. I had 2 lens replacements that week, sir.
From now on, while this case is open, you are not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication.
I don't anyway.
Well, then it shouldn't be a problem. But you're going to be randomly tested. How long are you planning on being out of town?
7 months until May.
This is going to be an issue. When are you leaving?
Monday.
You need to hire a lawyer. You need to talk to a lawyer about this so we can work something out. But you now have an open criminal case. You can't take off for just 7 months. It's not going. It can't happen. It's going to be an issue.
Half of the things that officer said was a lie.
That's why we have trials.
Okay.
You know, that's why I get it. There's always 2 sides to a story. I understand. The evidence will point to whose side is correct. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Can I ask you a question, sir?
Sure.
When does the blood work come in?
It takes a couple months. You have to understand that we live in a city of around 3 million people. On average, I probably have around a couple hundred DWIs that I'm working every week. In those, nearly every one of those is a blood test. So they are just overwhelmed with the amount of blood tests that they're working at any given time. So basically you get in line and then it just, when it's your turn, that's when they do it.
I had 4 ounces of wine.
Let's not talk, please. Everything you say, they're going to sit there and they're going to type it
Absolutely,
against
I'm
you.
ready.
Don't. Now's not the time. You need a lawyer to represent you. What
I will be my own lawyer, sir.
You perform open heart surgery on yourself? And let me tell you this.
I have nothing to hide.
Let me tell you this. If you're going to represent yourself, I'm going to require your presence here every month to go through discovery. Whereas if you have a lawyer, I waive appearances, right? Just, you can't represent yourself and be gone for 7 months. It don't work like that. So if you hire a lawyer, I will waive your appearance.
I can do this by remote?
You can't. Your lawyer can't. If you represent yourself, I require your appearance here.
All right, sir. You're talking about a public defender? If one is appointed for me?
You have to qualify. I don't give out public defenders like it's candy on Halloween. You have to qualify. If you have an income and you meet the federal poverty guideline, then we will appoint you a lawyer. But if you don't qualify, then you have to go hire a lawyer. But once you do hire a lawyer, I waive appearances so you don't have to waste your time coming to court. And then at that point, your case will be put off around 4 months, give or take. And then when the evidence comes in, that's when we start working the case. But you have to understand that we randomly call people to take a drug and alcohol test. And if you don't show up, we issue warrants. So that could be an issue. So that's why you need a lawyer to represent you.
Can I say something about the Valium?
No. What you say now will do nothing as to whether there's probable cause, whether it's going to get dismissed, whether this or that. It has nothing to do with it. And you're only hurting yourself. Nothing you can say right now will make it to where the case gets dismissed, whether it just doesn't.
Okay, Judge.
I'm doing that to help you, believe it or not. You know,
Yes, sir.
we have a lot of people that come in here and they just want to run gun. Just let's go now. Unfortunately, the law works at a snail's pace. And I know that it infuriates about 90% of the people, but that's just the way it goes.
And you're
I didn't invent it. I just try to micromanage.
If you may, in regard to the defendant's license, we see that he appears to have an out-of-state California license that is suspended in the case, except in the case of employment. So it appears to be an out-of-state occupational license.
License, I'm going to bar you from driving as well, sir. No. And I'm going to tell you now, if you have an occupational license in California, you've now picked up a DWI. Once they get wind of that, it's very possible they revoke that license as well. If he has an occupational license, it's got to be because of a DWI. Why else? Don't say no. Don't. It's going downhill real quick. Don't. Now's not the time. You need a lawyer. When do you leave on Monday?
7 a.m. from McAllen.
Oh, to McAllen.
No, from McAllen to Warsaw. Train to Kiev.
What I would do is get on it quick today to see about hiring a lawyer.
Okay.
And then they can appear on your behalf on Monday and we can work through the logistics. Don't just take off, because I'm telling you, if you just take off, I'm going to issue a warrant. And the next time you ever try to get on a plane, they're going to arrest you, and you'll sit in custody for months. It is a potential incredibly big headache.
So what does the lawyer need to do on Monday?
You need to have a lawyer. The lawyer needs to come, file paperwork to represent you, and then we can talk about how to work the logistics with the case.
We got to do that before 7 a.m. when the plane takes off?
Well, no. I mean, we don't start court till 9 o'clock. So, hopefully, if you hire a lawyer this weekend, they can try to get a hold of us through email, and perhaps we can work on it through the weekend, But
okay.
You got to get on it quick.
I'll get on it.
Because lawyers don't work on the weekends, and it's already Friday, and I can tell you, not many lawyers work very hard on Friday.
One more question, please.
Sure.
Even if it's used against me, can I explain the California license revoked?
Don't.
All right.
Just really, I know that you want to, it's just now's not the time.
Okay.
What we do is we usually give around 30-day resets for people to hire a lawyer, but I'm advising you to do it.
Okay. Tell me where to go right now.
Okay. So you're showing he has a suspended license for sure, right?
That's what it shows on our end, Your Honor. Suspended except for that employment
Okay.
exception.
I'm going to have you sign this affidavit promising us you're not going to drive. I'm going to have you sign a reset with Victoria. You sign the reset with Victoria. We'll have you meet with Felicia for your bond conditions that you're not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. Understand, I don't care where you are. I know that you're going to Poland or wherever. You can't consume alcohol.
And you don't want me to drive from now?
Well, you have to follow the law. If you don't have a license, you're not allowed to drive.
Okay. All right, sir. All right, sir. All right.
Judge, were you saying to put it on Monday?
Well, he's gone Monday.
Okay,
I would just say a 30-day reset and then just, have a lawyer as quick as you can. Theoretically, you don't have to. You could be out of town and still get with the lawyer, and the lawyer can come. We just need to know before the next setting.
Yes, sir.
Because if you're not here or it's someone here on your behalf by the next setting and you don't appear,
yes, sir.
People don't appear, we revoke bonds.
Yes, sir.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a teacher.
How much money do you make a month?
I would say that I'd
be honest.
I just started with Tomball ISD, so I have barely worked a month, maybe 800.
How do you support yourself?
I have been working. I'm a retired teacher out of California, and so I have retirement. But I'm trying to come on to Tomball to add to my retirement.
So you earn a monthly stipend as
Yes,
a
sir.
part of your retirement.
Yes, sir.
And how much money do you make from that a month?
About plus Social Security.
All in all
about 5,000 a month, plus the 800 that I just made.
See your prior date of BI.
I didn't see anything when I ran this criminal history, Judge. I can try again if you'd like.
How many people are in your household? Who do you live with?
I'm living currently with my sister.
You're not married. You don't have children.
I am going through a divorce. My wife and son are in California.
So let's do this. I'll have you come sign this. I'll have you sign the reset. I'll get you with Felicia for your bond conditions. We'll set you off a month. Just be careful out there.
All right, sir. All right, sir.
Yo, let's take a trip down to H-Town's core, where justice reigns behind the courtroom door. In court number 5, there's a man who presides, Judge David Fleischer, where the law abides. From the gavel to the road, he's holding it down. In the heart of Texas, he's renowned in the town, balancing the scales, making sure they're even. In his court, truth's the only thing we're believing. Judge Fleischer on the bench, laying down the law, fair and impartial, the best you ever saw. Harris County's finest, keeping justice alive. Everybody rise for court number 5. He listens to the pleas, he hears every voice, ensuring that the system gives a fair choice. From dawn till dusk, he's devoted to the cause, upholding the rights and respecting the law. Judge Fleischer on the bench, laying down the law, fair and impartial, the best you ever saw. Harris County's finest, keeping justice alive. Everybody rise for court number 5. To the pleas, he hears every voice, ensuring that the system gives a fair choice. From dawn till dusk, he's devoted to the cause, upholding the rights and respecting the law. Judge Fleischer on the bench, laying down the law, fair and impartial, the best you ever saw. Harris County's finest, keeping justice alive. Everybody rise for court number 5. In a world of chaos, he's a pillar of order, bringing clarity right across the border. With wisdom and integrity, he leads the way. In his courtroom, justice isn't just a cliche. So here's to the judge who's holding the line, Judge David Fleischer, legend by design. In Harris County Criminal Court, he's the guy, making sure that justice will always reside.